Shalom to Eli Groner, Israel's Minister for Economic Affairs to the U.S.
Shalom, Yoni.
What can you tell us about the cuts in the U.S. security financial assistance to Israel?
There's no question that the security assistance will be hit. The question is, what's the magnitude going to be? There's been a number of reports in the media of very large numbers, 500 to 700 million. We're pretty comfortable that the final number will end up being lower than 500. How much lower, I don't know. I don't want to say yet, but it should be lower.
So, Eli, what brought us to this situation?
Listen, the United States has severe economic challenges. There's been seemingly never-ending debates on how the United States should deal with its debt. The Democrats and the Republicans have differing views. The Republicans are more focused on cutting costs. Democrats are more interested in raising taxes. At one point in negotiations over a year ago, they reached a compromise where the Democrats actually suggested to the Republicans this sequester. The concept being, if we can't get to some sort of agreement, there will be across-the-board cuts automatically. The Democrats suggested this because they were convinced that the Republicans would refuse the offer because these across-the-board cuts include defense cuts to the United States, which Republicans historically have been very much against. To the surprise of the Democrats, the Republicans agreed to these cuts, and that's why we are where we are today.
So what's next? How is all this going to affect Israel?
Listen, there's no question Israel is an export-based economy, and when consumption in the United States goes down, it stands to reason that exports to the United States will go down. The hope and expectation is that this will be a blip on the radar screen, that Israeli companies will continue to generate value-added products that consumers will want. Therefore, the decrease in trade will be a blip on the radar screen and not something that will be sustainable for a long period of time.
So in your field, how do you see the relationship between Israel and U.S. today?
The relationship between the two countries has never been better. I want to say that I think that I don't know if in the history of these two countries there's been as broad a cooperation on as diverse an array of activities and initiatives as there is today. So I would say that the relationship between the two countries is very, very strong, and I'd expect it to get even stronger.
Eli Groner, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much, Yoni.